guys, my name is Luis. I'm a medical student here in the Philippines and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I'll be discussing about how I take notes in medical school. So in this video, I go over why I use an iPad in medical school, what iPad I use, what app I use, and what the different techniques I use to take notes in medical school. I've left timestamps in the description for you to go over so you can jump around the video to see what interests you. Anyway, let's start with the video. So let's start first on why I decided to use an iPad in medical school. So for most of my life, I used a laptop to type up my notes in both high school and in college. And I wanted to switch from that style because there's a governing body of evidence that handwriting your notes is more effective in helping you retain the information. And even though I could type down more information with my laptop, it didn't really help me try to condense what the lesson was about and help me understand what I was trying to learn. So when Apple released the iPad with Apple Pencil support, I decided that this would be the best way to bridge between the electronic utility of a laptop with the effectiveness of handwriting notes. Another thing I like about using an iPad is it allows me to put all my notes, textbooks, and handouts into one device. Because in med school, there's so much information that we have to know. It's important to be able to carry a lot of references with you all the time. And as opposed to carrying very heavy books around with you, it helps to just keep them all in one singular device. The best part is, the iPad is small enough to fit easily on those small desks that they provide in those lecture rooms. Where in cases that if you use a laptop, it'd be very hard for you to balance your laptop on that small desk. Lastly, the ability to use cloud services like Google Drive, Dropbox, and iCloud allows you to sync files easy between my laptop and my iPad, so I don't have to bring my laptop to school and easily carry over the work I was doing there onto my iPad. So given those points, you're probably wondering, which iPad should I get? Well, the iPad that I would recommend would depend on what you intend to use it for. Personally, I use the iPad 2018 with the first generation Apple Pencil. And despite being the cheapest iPad setup you can get, from my experience, it's more than enough to handle the needs of taking my notes, reading textbooks, and general media consumption like YouTube and Netflix. However, if you're planning to do more processor-intensive tasks such as film editing, photo editing, or even digital art, you get the higher-end models such as the iPad mini, the iPad Air, and even the iPad Pro. But these come at a more premium price. So if you're a student and you're limited by money, my recommendation is you get the iPad 2019 because it allows you to have Apple Pencil support but also have access to the iPad Smart Keyboard connector, which my iPad 2018 cannot use. This allows you to have the utility of typing experience open to you through the first-party accessory of Apple. If you want me to do a video comparing the different iPad models and the different writing experiences on them, please leave a comment down below. So my app of choice for taking notes on my iPad is the app Notability. And what I like about this app is that it allows me to organize my notes in such a way that it gives me easy access to them. So here I have dividers where I can organize my classes from my medicine classes, which is further subdivided to subjects, which are my different organ systems that I'm taking up. I have a specific folder for my MBA classes here in ASMPH, and I also have a folder for my organizations. I also like Notability because it integrates cloud sync features such as Google Drive, Dropbox, and iCloud, which very easily allows me to download files from the internet. So if I have an upcoming lecture, I can simply just open Google Drive and look up if the upper batch had any previous notes that I can just simply download and transfer into my iPad. So for example, I have an upcoming endocrine pathology lecture. I could look for the name of the lecture and then just simply tap on it and it will download and transfer into my iPad. So I can connect my school-given Google Drive account, which has unlimited storage, and I can sync files to and from my iPad. So even though I'm just using the base model iPad with 32 gigabytes of storage, if I run out of space on my iPad, I can just simply delete it without any worry because it's stored safely in my Google Drive folders. I basically have unlimited storage because of my ability to sync files from my device to the cloud. And when I want to get access to them again, I can simply just re-download them and open them as PDF in Notability. Another nice benefit is that if I receive a handout from one of my lectures, I can simply just use my phone, open the app Scannable, scan the document, and transfer it to my iPad where I can annotate it. That way, I don't have to worry about potentially losing the handout because it's already in my iPad where I can easily just search it later. Lastly, one really neat feature about Notability that other note-taking apps don't have is this ability to record while you write your notes. And when you play back the recording, it'll have the option to actually play back your handwriting so you can see where you wrote the notes at what specific point in the lecture. So here I have Notability open and I can press the record button and it will start recording the audio that it can hear in its environment. So if I take a note, hello, this is a note, then I stop recording. When I go back to listen to this later, it will show the recording of the audio and also show my notes in the order that I wrote them. So let's see here. And it will start recording the audio that it will hear in its environment. So if I take a note, hello, this is a note, then I stop. This feature is especially helpful if you like the type of person who likes to take notes and record the lecture at the same time. So my process in taking notes for my lectures is that I first check if there are pre-existing notes from the upper batches. And although it's more beneficial to write your own notes, I find that using upper batch notes allows you to listen to the lecture and write notes, and at the same time having that safety net that there's already information that I can refer to just in case I missed it during the lecture. And during the lecture, I would listen to what the professor would emphasize and highlight that in the chants so that I'd know this is what I take note of when making my flashcards later on, because it's most likely gonna come out in the exam. But if there's no pre-existing chants, that's a time I'd make my own handwritten notes. During that time, I'd open up a new file in Notability where I would take notes on what the lecturer would say. So I would start off by putting a header on the top so I know what lecture I'm referring to, and I would also put a divider down the middle using the straight line tool of Notability so I could divide the page into 2 columns. And that way, I make more efficient use of the space in the notebook by condensing information into 2 columns per page so that I have to read less when I go to review my notes later on. So here's an example of a set of notes that I made for my lectures in endocrinology earlier on this year. So here you can see that I divided based on the different lectures. So here's one, here's another, and under each of these I included my different notes based on what I took note of during the lectures. So as you can see here, I included some images because what iPadOS allows you to do is that you can open up Safari on the side in the split screen view and drag and drop pictures into your notes, which is a nice utility to have so that you can further make your notes more usable to you when you review later on. The nice thing also about Notability is that it has many tools that you can use to make your notes look more presentable. I personally don't use them, but if you like making your notes really pretty by making them different colors, you can change the different pen tips, so you can change them making different colors and underline. There are highlighters that you can use to highlight specific concepts so that you know what to emphasize later during your review. And all these tools allow you to make note-taking a more pleasant experience, which will overall make you want to take more notes. Another really useful advantage of having an iPad is that if during patient encounters, for example in medical school, you encounter a patient who says a disease that you're not completely sure of what it is. So for example, in a cardio PE, the patient mentions that they have a patent foramen ovale, and you're not really sure what that is, so you note down patent foramen ovale, and then using the split screen feature of iPadOS, you can open up Safari and then look up patent foramen ovale, and here you can see the definition of what it is, and then using the drag and drop feature, you can, after selecting, you can highlight and then select it and add it to the note. So here, a patent foramen ovale is a hole in the heart that didn't close in the way it should have after birth. During fetal development, a small flap in the opening, the foramen ovale, is normally present in the wall between the right and upper left chamber. You can also take images and then also drag and drop into your notes, and which is a really nice feature to have so that you can further understand it when you refer to your notes later. So this is a really useful tool because it allows you to seamlessly get information about a subject you didn't know while not appearing so rude by bringing out your phone and then just typing in Safari and searching what it is. So it makes you look more professional that way. So to recap what we discussed today, I went over why the iPad is the ideal tool as it bridges the gap between handwritten notes and the utility that the laptop gives, which makes it the ideal gadget for medical school. I also recommended, which is the best iPad you can get, which is the iPad 2019. I also discussed what app I use to take my notes and what different ways I utilize the app Notability in the different activities I have in school and also outside the classroom. So that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching to this point. If you like the content, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. And I hope to see you guys in the next one.